dear Mr. and Mrs. Hamdi. Today we're going to be doing a bread recipe of Italian origin called focaccia. Our variation is using whole wheat flour. Now, this bread is similar in style to pizza dough and can be used as a side to different meals or as a sandwich bread. So to start off with, you need 2.5 teaspoons of yeast, about half a teaspoon of runny honey, and a cup of warm water which you're going to add. You're then going to use a whisk or any kind of fork or spoon and whisk that mixture up so that it can become quite frothy in nature. You leave that to set for 10 minutes and it will rise and become quite foamy, and that's the texture that you need and want for your bread dough. So once your yeast mix has risen, you get your olive oil, which has been infused with olives and sun-dried tomatoes. Now this is optional, but it is a great addition because it just makes the taste of the bread so good. It has that deep sun-dried tomato taste to it. I've also added some minced garlic, which is also another great addition. You can also add a bit of black pepper and just flavour your olive oil. For the mix, you need about 4 tablespoons of this olive oil, and that is just enough and perfect for your mix. You're then going to add about a teaspoon of salt and mix the whole thing together just so that it's well combined. You can use a spoon for this. You then add about 2.5 cups of whole wheat flour, and you add this slowly. So first add about 2 cups, mix it thoroughly, and then add another half cup when everything is well combined. So once you've added your remaining flour, use your hands and you start kneading the dough. Now this mix is so easy and easy to apply into the shape that you want. So keep kneading it with your hands. You can do it in the bowl and then transfer it to any kind of kneading board that you have or any surface. You can add a bit more flour to the surface to make it a bit more kneadable. Now before you transfer your dough back to the bowl, add some olive oil and just make sure that it's spread well around the bowl. Add your dough, put some cling film on top, and then put it in your proofing cupboard. A quick tip for proofing your bread is to heat your oven up to about 60 degrees for about 5 minutes and then switching it off and keeping the door closed. When your dough is ready, just pop that in with the plastic and it should be there for about an hour proofing. So once it has been in the oven proofing or in your proofing cupboard for about an hour, it should have risen or doubled in size like so, and you just take the plastic off and you apply it and knead it with your hands to a round spreadable bread dough texture. You'll see it as follows. So then on a greased baking paper or parchment sheet, you just spread the dough. You don't need to roll it out with a rolling pin, but you just spread it with your hands and it should easily spread. You can then use something like a glass or a rolling pin if you wanted to just make an even texture or spread off the dough. This would just give you a much more even layer in the dough, and it just kind of smooths out the rough bumps, as you can see. Now, to get the indents that normal focaccia bread has, you can just use your finger or the back of a spoon and make the holes in the bread. The easiest way is using a finger. You don't need to be completely neat about this, but just go along with it and try and make as many holes as you can. The deeper the holes, the better, ideally. I didn't make the holes as deep as I could in here. You then can top it with some rosemary, some black pepper, and also the remaining of your olive oil mix. Now this time you can actually take the bits out and pop it in. What I like to do is take individual pieces of olive and kind of dig them into the holes, as you can see. That just makes the bread so much tastier. You can also do the same with the sun-dried tomatoes and pick out bits of crushed garlic and do the same. Now once you are ready with this, just drizzle the rest of the olive oil and pop it in the oven at 200 degrees for 25 minutes. So once it's out of the oven, it should have a crispy topping like this. If not, leave it for another 2 minutes. At this point, the olives should have sunken into the holes, and so should the sun-dried tomatoes. You can then move on to the cutting stage of the bread, and you can do this as you wish in whichever way you want. This is just the way that I've done it. I've cut it in half and then longitudinal slices, and then I cut it again in half again. Now that's just my preference because that's the way I wanted to serve it, and it's just the perfect portion size for myself. As you can see, the bread is incredibly soft in nature and it has pockets of air and it's so delicious. I hope you enjoy making this.